Morning, what is going on? It is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Can I get a roll tide up in the comment box? I appreciate you guys being here. It is Cowboy Hat Wednesday on Bama Football on YouTube. Got a new sheriff in town. You got Ryan Williams on the cover of College Football 26. Let me know where you're coming from inside the comment box. We'll do our morning shout outs in just a minute. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on this beautiful Wednesday, May 28th. My goodness, the month of May is flying by. And before you ask about the cowboy hat, this hat can be purchased at Walmart for $7. I guess I should have wore it on Monday for Memorial Day, but this is just a hat that I like to mess around with. Look, I like to have a lighthearted life, and I like to enjoy the moment. So, every once in a while, I'll bust something like this out. Don't be alarmed. I'm a patriotic person, but you know what I will say before I get the show started? Cowboy hat life is a different life, just like beard life and just like dog life. Those are different lives. And I honestly think I should start wearing more cowboy hats. I don't know. Let me know inside the comment box. I appreciate you guys being here. Ryan Williams, the cover boy of College Football 26. And he had a great interview yesterday with Pete Nakos of On3 talking about the mentality of this team. We're going to dive into that. Today's raffle is a 2-for-1. I got a bunch of people logged into the raffle today. We'll spin the pinwheel, and to get into the raffle, there's still time. Venmo Bama _YouTube, Cash App Bama YouTube. Okay, we still have space, and we will spin the pinwheel today. So I hope you guys get the opportunity to get into the raffle today. You got 2 hats today that we'll be raffling off. Let's do some morning shout outs. But first, this is what is on the show today. We're going to talk about Ryan Williams on the cover of College Football, show you some photos in case you missed that from yesterday, and talk about the mindset of Hollywood. And I think, look, going into your sophomore year, you can be called sophomoric, you can be called a little immature. Ryan Williams isn't that. I think the way that Ryan Williams is entering this year and what he definitely told Pete Nakos, he is absolutely dialed in and probably one of the leaders of this team, okay? So we'll talk about that mindset. We'll talk about Coach DeBoer and what he said yesterday during SEC spring meetings, and something about kind of the schedule of, the opposition or other teams playing a non-SEC schedule. We'll dive into that. And J.C. Latham, former Alabama offensive lineman, who I love, did a podcast interview with the Bussin' Boys, which you definitely should go watch. I'll link it in the description. He had some great things to say about this program, and something really interesting, kind of the difference between Nick Saban and DeBoer, which I think that you will find interesting. We'll talk about that on the back end of the show, and then we will roll over into the pinwheel, and we'll close it out. So I appreciate you guys being here today. This is I guess a Cowboy Hat Wednesday. I appreciate you guys being here. Let's do some morning shout outs and see where people are coming from this morning. Chad, I got you just now on the Cash App. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate your continued support, man. You always here, always supporting the product right here on Bama Football on YouTube. All right, let's see who's up in the house today on this Howdy Wednesday. I don't know what we're going to call this with the cowboy hat, but we need to figure out something. All right, Herman, what's up, man? Good to see you. Always some great attendance. Perfect attendance, really. Max Tooney, what's up, man? Good to see you, brother. Kalen D-Boss, what's up, man? Good to see you. Chad, what's up, man? He's not getting the notifications, but you know what? We're 10 a.m. every single Monday through Friday. So you know where to be, Chad. I love the support, brother. Jeff Stapleton, what's up, man? Happy summer to you. Alyssa with perfect attendance as well. Jeff, my man. Stapleton, what's up, man? Patriot Life, man. Say happy hump day. We got Twan up in here, man. Good to see you. Chadley has this to say. Good morning. Sorry, it's been a few days, but my girlfriend is finally better after surgery. That is great news. We appreciate the update. And that's a hell of an avatar, by the way. Now I'll be having surgery soon. So prayers up to you, man. You guys are going to get through it. Sometimes in life, you go through it, but you keep going forward, right? That's kind of the motto of life. wife. The artist formerly known as Sean. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Stephen Hicks, good to see you also inside the comment box. Chris from New Jersey. What's up, man? Rocket Town, good morning, brother. Good to see you. We got Anita up in the house. Sorry if I missed you earlier. Mike from Austin. Mike, is this it, dude, from Austin? Is this the cowboy hat? Is this what we're rocking if we're going to Austin down on 6th Street? I still haven't been to Austin, so if anyone wants to hang out and play some golf in Austin, some point in time, hit me up. King's family? Yo, quick story about King's family, all right? So I go to this 8-day practice, in whatever it was back in April, and King's family and his son rolled up and gave me a big hug, and it was good to see. Anytime I get to see family from the undefeated inside the comment box, it's always amazing. So if you're out there, you see me out in Tuscaloosa, come say what's up. I'd be happy to take a picture with you or whatever, but I appreciate catching up with everybody. Kimberly, what's up? Good morning to you. Chance, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for being here. Robert Hell, good morning as well. Nicole, good to see you. Thanks for joining the show this morning. We got Kaylin Childress. Let's see. We got Bruce Williams. Man, good crew. Crimson Angel up in Pigeon Forge. Anthony Figgins, what's up, man? I appreciate it, bro. Thanks for rocking with us. And Todd Tipton, Todd is this guy loves Alabama. You go to other Bama YouTube channels, this guy will fight with you, opposing fans. Seriously, Todd is through and through, all right? And he says that 6th Street is the truth. All right, I got to switch hats, all right? We're going to do a quick hat change, all right? This is Cowboy Hat Wednesday. But I like wearing my mic headset because I can hear myself a little bit better. All right, so we're going to do a quick transition. All right, so cowboy hat. You get this at Walmart, okay? For anybody wondering, Walmart is like $7. And we will go to the old school Alabama logo, and we're gonna switch mic. All right, okay. Woo. All right. I feel a lot safer in this zone with the old school logo and the hat on. This is a good hat, by the way. All right. Okay, here we go. We might need to lighten this up just a little bit. Oh, man. I feel more at home like this. I don't know why. I don't know why. I feel more at home. Okay. College football cover, none other than Ryan D. Williams. Okay. And who plays the game inside the comment box? Raise your hand. I don't know. We probably couldn't create a league. I don't have time to play video games. But I do like to play this particular game. I play 3 games when I can. I played this game. I love me some FIFA. And what else do I play? I thought there was one other game. The kids play like Grand Theft Auto. I was trying to think of the other game that I like to play. I usually just like sports games, but I do get down on the sticks. And I've said this before. Maybe at some point in time, I'll stream the next season. I'll probably do it. Last year I did it. It was hella hard because I just turned on the game, hadn't played in a decade, and I went through the whole season. I played an All-American. I didn't play Heisman. I love the game. I love to get on the sticks. And this year, I'll do the same thing. So if you want to link up online or whatever, maybe you guys can show me how, and we'll play some NCAA football. But on the cover is Ryan Williams. And somebody pointed this out to me. I uploaded a video yesterday, and someone pointed this out inside the comment box. And they said, and we'll go full screen on this, they said, look at everybody else's face. Everybody else is cheesing, right? I see a lot of people. I see Garrett Nussmeier. You got the coach from Arizona State. You got Lane Kiffin. You got Dan Lanning. You got James Franklin. Hey, Kalen DeBoer didn't make the game? Why didn't he make the cover? Notre Dame's coach. You got Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams. Clearly, 2 of the most coveted players in college football. But notice the expression between Ryan Williams and everybody else. And it's kind of segueing perfect into what I'm going to talk about next is the mentality. Look, everybody else is cheesing. It's a game. But I don't know. It seems like Ryan Williams coming in with like that warrior look. And someone pointed this out to me, and I was like, damn, you're right. He seems pissed off for greatness. Yeah, I don't see any Auburn on there, right? Boise State. You got this man up here with the logo. But I don't know. This really stood out to me. I like this cover right here. You got Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith. My goodness, 2 of the best coming back. And it's amazing to think that these guys are just sophomores, right? sophomores at two of the pinnacle programs in college football. All right. So that stood out to me yesterday. Tim Tebow, why is Tim Tebow in the game? Is he like going to be in the game somehow? Maybe I missed news. I don't know. I like Tim Tebow. I met him a couple times. He's treated me very fair. I think he does a lot of good outside of football. So, and I met him a couple times, and he's a really nice guy. The mindset of Hollywood. All right, this is something that I definitely want to talk about, okay? And this next segment is sponsored by Sonic, America's favorite drive-in, all right? 2 locations from our sponsor in West Memphis, Arkansas, and another in Marion, Arkansas, where I-55 and I-40 meet. So if you're in the area, if you're cruising through, stop for a cheese coney and an ocean water, or you know what I had last night? You know what? Because we've been talking about Sonic recently, is I had a cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper. I'm not kidding you. Like, that must be my favorite drink, all right? And I don't drink a lot of Cokes, but when I do, you can find me hitting up a cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper with the cheese coney, all right? I let my hair down a little bit sometimes. I feel like I'm too regimented. All right, so, and if you want to be a sponsor of the show, which I would really appreciate, you can drop me an email inside the comment box. And I think I might create some other options. If you're just a fan out there, if you're a super fan and you want to be a sponsor, even for like the summertime, I'd appreciate it. So keep your heads on a swivel for that. There's that cheese coney. That I like that cheese coney so much. I'm not gonna lie. And those and the cheese tater tots can't go wrong. All right, so you can go read this article. Pete Nakos, who is absolutely killing it. He's one of the young, up-and-coming, great college football writers. He has a lot of contacts. He's broken a lot of stories, and he interviewed Ryan Williams yesterday. He had a one-on-one interview. I don't know when this interview took place, probably within the last couple of days, right? Ryan Williams seems like an extremely busy dude, but he made time to talk to Pete Nakos. And there was one particular quote that stood out in that article, and this is what he said. It's been all attack, all kill. And he's talking about after the loss to Michigan. And he's like, look, since I've, followed Alabama football and, they've never lost under Coach Saban. They've always won at least 10 games. So he's like, you can only imagine what that did to me when we didn't win 10 games. He's like, since that point in time, it's been all attack, all kill. We're submit on a mission, and that's coming from Ryan Williams. And I was like, man, that is what, and it's good to see that. And you kind of pair that with what we saw in the springtime. There was a lot of good takeaways in the spring. There really was. And I'm not just gassing you up because, we're in the springtime. You saw a lot of freshmen step up and contribute. We saw a really good coaching retention. You brought a hell of a coach in as offensive coordinator. And even Coach Kalen DeBoer, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes, talking about, kind of the roster and where it sits right now. He's like, we have guys who want to be here. And it kind of made my ears perk up. I was like, damn, was there some guys who weren't sure if they wanted to be here last year? Kind of seems like it. But this is probably one of the most powerful quotes that I've seen in the springtime, summer. I don't know. I kind of consider May summer. Is May summer to you? Yes or no? As soon as you know what it is for me, when the kids get out, that's summer. That's the definitive day. I don't go by like the almanac. Maybe I should. But one thing that I want you to understand, and I think you already do about Ryan Williams, there's the Ryan Williams with the smile and the Hollister, there's like that Hollywood. But Ryan Williams, like when he turns it on and when he's dialed in, he's got it. Some people have it. Ryan Williams has it. I'm a huge Ryan Williams fan. I love this young man, watching him and his mindset and kind of the growth and the maturation of him. I think I pray that he has just a wonderful season. I can't even imagine what he does in year 2. But it's good to see where his mentality is at this point in time. Here are some other screens, some shots from the video game. And I like the fact that he's just not smiling, right? When you talk about like he is him, like this is him. This is the guy. And to be full out transparent, before Ryan Williams got here, I didn't know it would be like this. Honestly, before we move on from Ryan Williams, and we're going to talk about Ryan Williams probably every single day while he's here. Did you think it would be, did you think Ryan Williams would be this guy? I didn't, honestly. I didn't know what was coming. I didn't see this wave coming. He's been an absolute tidal wave more than that. And he came at a perfect time right as Coach Saban exited out. Like, this is the guy that comes in? You kidding me? Man. All right. Remember, if you want to get in today's raffle, we got a good lineup. There's a lot of people in the raffle already, but if you still want to join in, Bama YouTube, Cash App, Bama YouTube. These are the 2 hats. We're doing a 2-for-1. We'll spin the pinwheel at the end, and you have some heavy hitters in there. You got Chad, you got Army 3275, you got Dan Caraway, Brady G, you got Jawan, Joe Croons, Patriot Life, Piano Man, Elisa Miller, a.k.a. Chris Waltman. You got Alex Wilder. So we got the heavy hitters in for the 2-for-1 deal. All right, Coach Kalen DeBoer at SEC spring meetings. All right, I thought this was really interesting. Made my ears perk up as well. I'm sure you saw this out there as well. He said, you kind of wonder what would happen if other teams, people, would have had the chance to play our schedule last year. I see Bama Hater inside the comment box. This is probably something for you to chew on as well, being a Miami fan. I didn't put Miami's schedule up in the next couple of slides, but think about this. I mean, when we have Bama Hater inside the comment box, we could talk about Miami, but do you think Miami would have survived or had even the schedule or the number of wins that they had playing the SEC schedule last year? Yeah, Robert Bradley, I got you in, bro. Hey, Kevin, it's $5 to get in. You can get up to 3 times. But honestly, like when you look back to Miami last year, and I'm going to show SMU and Boise State schedule next, how many games would those teams have won? Where would those teams have been? Would those teams have been in the top 5 of the SEC? I'm serious, and I'm not. Look, I am not arguing that Alabama should have made the playoffs. I am not one of those guys. There was a time where I felt Alabama should have made it over this and that, but I've learned that Alabama was not a playoff team last year. They weren't. But those other teams, I don't know. Coach Kalen DeBoer is right here. Like, someone said it was kind of a loser mentality to say this. No, it's like, this is the problem with college football, is that the conferences are not created equal. So you're still not taking the best 12 teams because how the hell do you know? Hey, Stephen Burton, I got your Cash App, bro. Look at these next schedules, okay? I'll go full screen. This is SMU's schedule. And we could also reverse it. What if Alabama played this schedule last year? Okay? Just hear me out. Would they have beat Nevada? Yes. Would they have beat Houston Christian? Are you kidding me? I didn't even know that was a school. Okay. Would they beat BYU? Yes. Would they beat TCU? Yes. Would they beat Florida State? Yes. Would they beat Louisville? Yes. Stanford? Yes. Honestly, I'm not messing around. Which team on this schedule right here would have beat Alabama last year? I get it. Alabama lost to Vanderbilt and Oklahoma. Which one? Is there one, honestly? Is there a team on here that would have beat Alabama football? Maybe Clemson, I guess? I don't know. I personally don't think that Clemson would have beat Alabama. But Jarvis, like you, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's the team. That's the exact team that I said, Jarvis. Okay, so stay with me here. And if SMU would have played Alabama's schedule, I don't think they would have ran the table like they did just joining the ACC. So the other team, and this is kind of going back to what Coach Kalen DeBoer said, here's Boise State's schedule last year, okay? Would Alabama beat Georgia Southern? Yes. Would they beat Oregon? No. Would they beat Portland State, Washington State? Yes. They would have beat all these teams outside of Oregon. Oregon was a better team than Alabama last year. That's fine. They would have had that same schedule, and they would have been in the playoffs. So that's what's broken about college football. And the thing is, if Boise State would have played Alabama's schedule, come on. Great team last year. Maybe not a great team, but a good team last year for Boise State. But come on, bro. Would Boise State have beat Georgia? Okay, let me ask you this. Would SMU have beat Georgia last year? Would SMU have beat Georgia? Yes or no inside the comment box. Would Boise State have beat Georgia last year? Something to chew on. Let's see. What's up, Skip? First time I seen you here, brother. Skip says Bama hasn't been this locked since 2011. Oh, man. You know, this year's team, I was talking to some buddies yesterday, and I was like, you know, I might be listening to myself too much. I don't know. But I feel damn good about this team coming into this year. And Kevin, no, I have not seen what Josh Pate said. To be honest, I don't listen to anybody else. I don't watch any other shows, nothing else. I do my own stuff and just keep my head down. But Josh Pate, I think Josh Pate is the greatest to ever do YouTube. I think that college football should hire him as like a, assistant to Coach Saban and whoever else to figure out college football. I think that's how talented he is as a person. But I don't watch his stuff. I know who he is, and I know the brand that he's built, and I see some short stuff on X, but I can only focus on my stuff, my kids, my spirituality, my sleep, my workouts, and that's it. Coach Kalen DeBoer also said this. He said, we have great facilities, kind of asked about recruiting yesterday and, what has changed, this and that. And we'll talk about Courtney Morgan's kind of slogan. He came out with it finally a couple days ago. But he said, we have great facilities. Duh. Has anybody seen or toured the facilities here in Tuscaloosa? It's incredible. I'm serious. It is absolutely amazing. They have space age technology over here. It's absolutely amazing. In fact, there's a lot of pros that you'll see during the summertime here because they come and work out here in Tuscaloosa. It's crazy. So we said in terms of like tradition and, kind of recruiting, because you have a bunch of official visitors coming in this weekend. We talked about that yesterday. He said the facilities, the tradition, of course. He talked about selling our staff is really easy. I love that part because the staff, I think, sells itself, right? You imagine rapping, like if you're a player or if you're a player's parent or a player's handler, kind of the guys behind the scenes, talking with Coach Mo Lindquist, Jamarcus Shepard, Freddie Roach, man. That staff is elite. Yes, that Jarvis is right. This is good right here. Drake Kirkpatrick did a full facility tour on their podcast. So there's Ryan Williams, Jalen Mbakwe on the New Wave podcast, and they brought in Drake Kirkpatrick, who, by the way, has a fantastic personality. I did watch that. And he does the whole tour of the facility. It's amazing. Compounded onto that, he said that, the players themselves also help recruit. The players that are physically here. Remember a couple weeks ago, or was it last week, when Casey Poe, who's a reserve lineman right now, which does not mean he's a bad player. He was giving Alabama so much kudos how they have helped him, right? And that's what we mean by like the own players recruiting for the program. I love that. There was a bunch of stuff that Coach Kalen DeBoer said. I would go to, any of your team recruiting sites to read like the full report of Coach Kalen DeBoer. There wasn't anything earth-shaking, and in fact, it's kind of like I'm trying not to talk about the quarterbacks like on my shows because it's been exhausting. Like there's nothing else to discuss about the quarterback situation. There's really not. Of course, that's going to be a main focal point, but like when Coach Kalen DeBoer is still asked about like the quarterback competition, he's not going to say anything. Nothing else that we haven't already heard. But I like this quote right here. He says, "We're in a good spot right now because our guys have really found out who wants to be here." And that's been the great theme, right? You have now these transfers who are entering year 2, or the players who are entering year 2 under Coach Kalen DeBoer. These guys want to be here. They want to achieve something great this year. Coach Kalen DeBoer says at the end, they've dug in really deep, right? They put their heels down. They want to win some games. They want to win a championship. All right, so we finally got kind of the theme. Last year was a cold summer. And Courtney Morgan, can we get a thumbs up for Courtney Morgan, please? Courtney Morgan is the general manager here at the University of Alabama. Him and Coach Kalen DeBoer are inseparable. Every single thing that these guys do, they're together. And Courtney Morgan does an amazing job. This has kind of been a new position, I think, over the last 3 years in college football, is getting a GM here. And that's something that Kalen DeBoer did right. Another thing, right, is bring in a general manager. Coach Saban had kind of a, somebody who's like general operations, who's Ellis Ponder. He kind of does like the organization. But Courtney Morgan's job is like player development, recruiting, working with the particular staff, helping them win championships. The approval rating of Courtney Morgan is through the absolute roof. And you pay this guy whatever the market value is at the highest level, period. Just like King's Family Reacts saying, he's like, Courtney Morgan is him, 100%. All right. Played the game. Is at, the top of where he wants to be at his career, and just a solid addition. And you think about kind of the pillars behind Coach Kalen DeBoer, right? Courtney Morgan, Jeff Allen, David Ballou. You see what I'm saying? Like, those are some mega chess pieces on the board. So anyways, this is it. So now you can tell your friends and your family that summer. Look at this logo. First of all, who did this? Man, this is fire. Summer rain. Do you guys like this graphic? I do. This is tight. And it goes perfectly with the weather here in Tuscaloosa. Did you know this? It's May, so we're almost at the end of May, which is crazy to think about. We have had, I think, I have to double check with, I'll have to check with Span on James Span's latest post. I'm pretty sure we have 17 inches of rain so far, which leads the state of Alabama. Someone said that Gunnersville might have more. I don't know. 17 inches this month is just crazy. You have to remember, yeah, I've lived here for 9 years, but in New Mexico, where I was from, you get like 11 inches in rain the entire year. This is 17 per the entire month. Yes. See, Max. Thank you, Max. Wettest May on record in Tuscaloosa. Man, you should see the Black Warrior. It is full. The only problem, Ryan Harris, you're absolutely right, man. The courses are looking great, but the problem is it's cart path only. Cart path only means you have to stay on the cart path and you have to walk to your ball every single time you hit it. All right, so and then we also have to pair it with this. Remember a couple weeks ago he said gloves off? So you have summer rain, gloves off, and you have an incredible group wave coming in this weekend. We talked about a lot of the guys that are coming in on the show yesterday, and we have a video talking specifically about that. But here's a look at who Alabama has committed at this point in time. And I get it. It's the end of May. Things started picking up for Alabama in June last year. So expect this summer rain to, pick up. Expect it to rain more in June. Let's just put it that way. So not a huge, overwhelming volume of current committed prospects, but I think that's by design. Jordan Edmonds, absolute baller. Already working out with Dejoun Lee out in Atlanta. Zion Gibson, in-state prospect, right? Jameer Matthews, out of Georgia. Chris Booker, out of Atlanta. And then you got Kamarion Johnson down here as well. These are your committed prospects. And I guess it's been some time. I guess the last prospect that we got was back in, the end of March. So it's been some time, but I think it's by design. I don't think people aren't just not committing to Alabama. I think the design is bring them in for an official visit, tradition, right? Facilities, sell the staff, have the other players recruit them. Hey, did you know we have the cover of, College Football 26 right here at the front of the welcome line? You see what I'm saying? Let me ask you, for your recruiting guys inside the comment box, Todd's one of them. You think Alabama gets a couple commitments this weekend, and who do you think that those commitments could be? And you have prospects from all over the country coming. You have some guys from Hawaii, right? Big man, big offensive tackle. You got guys coming in from Nevada. The Iowa State commit coming for an unofficial visit. Dan Carraway is calling for Booby Feaster, right? So keep your heads on a swivel in terms of recruiting this weekend. Most of these guys will get here Friday and head out at the end of the weekend. I don't know if you saw this, but it's one hell of a podcast. The Bussin' Boys, they've started a podcast. It's college football centric. They bring on guys, sometimes from the NFL as well, like J.C. Latham. And he had some amazing things to say about Coach Kalen DeBoer. Has anybody seen this? Just type in Bussin' Boys J.C. Latham. It'll pop up on YouTube. The biggest thing that he said, so one of the hosts of the show asked J.C. Latham, who, by the way, is a big man, a tackle for the Titans. He was asking him, he's like, well, what's the difference between, your early thoughts and kind of the feedback that you get from Coach Saban's program and Coach Kalen DeBoer? And he said, Coach Saban is cut from that old cloth, like rub some dirt on it and, you don't need water, and, kind of just play through it and always practicing and just kind of going through it. And now with Coach Kalen DeBoer, he said that Coach Kalen DeBoer is running Alabama's program like an NFL program. And what that meant, and he said there's a big difference, but he's like, look, he's more about recovery. He understands that these players are future NFL players, and he's giving them time to recover. He's not having as many go all out days, so these guys can be closer to 100% when they're practicing. And I was like, you know what? I was like, wow. Obviously what Coach Saban did worked, right? He's the greatest of all time, but I thought it was an interesting view, and the way that J.C. Latham made it sounds like this approach, exactly. Thank you, Jarvis. It's kind of like an NFL prep university, the way that he's taking it. Honestly, I found it really fascinating. And he said that he's giving a lot of the players, clearly there's discipline, but he's like, look, he's giving the players a chance to grow up on themselves. Hey, BJ, what's up, man? Appreciate it. This particular hat you can get at the student store here in Tuscaloosa. So when you come here, you go to the student stores and you can buy some of the hats. And that's the thing, Jarvis, is with Coach Saban's, you can't really criticize anything that he did. But I think in this new world where we have so much health data feedback, you can look at the analytics, right? Even the green dot, and be like, look, this particular player's not performing at the highest level. Do we need to get him into recovery so we can get him closer to 100%, going into the weekend? Who knows? I don't know. But I thought that was interesting. He also talked about Malachi Moore, had a lot of positive things to say about him, and he kind of rewinded to that Vanderbilt game, and he's like, you could see the frustration in him clearly, because of what he did on the field, but he was like, that's kind of that standard. He's not used to losing. He's not to us and to Malachi Moore, losing to Vanderbilt is it was worse than subpar. It was the unthinkable. So for Malachi to be going through that, and no one's justifying his action. It's just that's where he was. Hey, Skip, what's up, brother? Says, Mr. Henderson topic, if Saban gets NIL regulated, what teams return to normal? I don't know. I don't know what will happen with NIL, because the biggest thing that we talked about yesterday was Tennessee basically signed a bill that they don't have to follow the same rules as everybody else. And I think, as I said yesterday, that's kind of a step, a tiny step forward of maybe a collapse with the NCAA, to where teams are like, you know what? Screw it. Let's create our own league. Big Ten, SEC, let's pull out of the NCAA, create our own league, and that's it. I think that will eventually happen. I think that will happen. I don't know when, but I think that'll happen at some point in time. There's too many teams in the NCAA anyways. And then the last thing that J.C. Latham said about William Anderson is when they were practicing at Alabama, J.C. Latham said, going against William Anderson was difficult. He was the guy. He was but I could deal with him. But he's fast forward to when he was in the league and we went against each other for the Houston, Texans and the Titans. He was William Anderson, whooped my you-know-what. Remember William Anderson? You know what? Your trivia. What was William Anderson's nickname when he was at Bama? What was William Anderson's nickname at Alabama? Does anybody know? And if you get that, okay, Jarvis got it. My boy Jarvis got it. Okay, it was the Terminator. But who named him that? That's the second part of the trivia question. Who named him the Terminator? Does anybody know this? William Anderson at Bama was nicknamed the Terminator. But who named him the Terminator? It was not Greg Sankey. It was not Nick Saban. I'll give you guys a second. Trivia question is, who named William Anderson the Terminator? No, it wasn't Latham. It wasn't Pete Golding, man. I haven't thought about Pete Golding in a minute. I almost thought about doing a thumbs down for Pete Golding, but I'm not going to do him like that. It wasn't Bryce. You know who it was? It was Steve Sarkisian. Steve Sarkisian named him. Yes, Alex got it. It was Steve Sarkisian. They were practicing, and they couldn't get, like the ones were practicing, and they couldn't get a play going because William Anderson kept sneaking through and sacking the quarterback. So he stopped practice and got William Anderson and, like, sat him out so they could run plays because that's how disruptive William Anderson was at practice. So Steve Sarkisian, Crimson Angel got it. Kimberly got it too. But I think Alex was first inside the comment box. All right. Today's raffle, we got a big crew in. I'm going to take a quick commercial break, load up everybody in the pinwheel, and then we'll play some pinwheel. So that's what's coming up next on the show. I appreciate you guys being here. Don't go anywhere. We're going to spin the pinwheel in 2 seconds, then do our closeout. I appreciate you guys being here. Be back in 2 seconds. Now was a great time to become a sponsor of Bama Football on YouTube. Contact. Just kidding. That's me behind the scenes. All right, fam. Somebody's still looking for a clue? What are you guys looking for a clue on? It's that pinwheel time. All right. Let's do the pinwheel music. I gotta pause it. All right, fam. You know what time it is. Welcome to Bama Football on YouTube. This is the time where we spin the pinwheel for Bama gear right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Remember, if you want to get the direct gear that supports the players, go to Athletes Thread, go to Fanatics. I know the Athletes Thread for sure. That gear goes, the proceeds go to that particular athlete, okay? Remember, a portion of our raffles goes back to the Tuscaloosa Soup Kitchen, which we really appreciate. You know, in the last 2 months, we've been able to make 2 drops to take care of I think it's over 250 families so far, or 250 meals. So I appreciate you guys continuing to play in the raffle. Thanks for being here. As you know, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Central Time, or as Mega News happens, I got you covered right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys very much for watching and for kicking it with me every single day. Today is the pinwheel, so let's spin it. Ready? It's got some heavy hitters in here, all right? Oh, and if you win any of the gear, or if you have questions about the gear, just hit me up to nmpreps@gmail.com. It's my old email when I used to own a high school football website. All right, ready? Let's spin it. 3, 2, 1. Spin it. Who we got? Joe Juan coming through with the huge dub. Congratulations, bro. Kevin, we'll roll you into tomorrow, brother. We'll roll you into our next raffle. Appreciate you for being here, Joe Juan. Thank you so much for playing. And for everybody supporting right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys coming to us from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Jawan, hit me up, man. You got the 2-for-1 raffle deal, man. That's a hell of a spin for you. We'll do the raffle tomorrow, and then a free raffle on Friday. Kevin, I got you, man. We'll roll you over to tomorrow, and then on Friday we'll do a free raffle for everybody that hasn't been in the raffle yet. So stay tuned, because I choose random names to add everybody in on Friday. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on this fine Wednesday, May 28th. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Love you guys.